On farms around the world, some machines weren't just built tough, they were built unstoppable. Long after manuals disappeared, dealers shut down, and replacement parts became legends themselves. These farm machines kept plowing, harvesting, and hauling like time didn't exist. They may be forgotten, but they refused to quit. This is the countdown of 10 forgotten farm machines that refuse to die. The iron workhorses still proving that true durability never fades. Number 10. Fordson Model F, 1917 to 1928. When Henry Ford, the genius behind the automobile revolution, turned his attention to farming, he forever changed the way the world grew its food. Before 1917, the word tractor was still a luxury for most farmers. Heavy, steam-powered machines dominated the landscape, expensive, clunky, and reserved only for the wealthy. But the arrival of the Fordson Model F flipped the script completely. This compact machine was the first mass-produced tractor in the world, designed with the same philosophy Ford used for cars. Make it simple, make it affordable, and make it last. Built with a durable cast-iron frame and powered by a 4-cylinder engine that ran on kerosene, the Model F produced a modest 20 horsepower, yet that was enough to pull 2 plows through thick soil with ease. Farmers who had relied on horses for centuries suddenly found themselves with mechanical muscle that didn't tire or eat. The Model F quickly became a global phenomenon. From the dusty farmlands of Kansas to the rolling hills of Ireland and even the remote farms of Russia, the Fordson spread like wildfire. Its straightforward design meant anyone with a wrench and a bit of know-how could fix it. No special tools, no complicated electronics, just pure mechanical brilliance. Even more remarkable is that, more than 100 years later, you can still find Fordson Model F tractors running on small farms around the world. Many have been restored, some still wear their original paint, and others have been rebuilt from scrap piles, but they all share one thing in common: they refuse to die. The Model F wasn't just a tractor, it was a symbol of progress. It took farming out of the horse age and into the industrial era. Every modern tractor, from John Deere to Case IH, owes part of its DNA to the Fordson. It's a machine that proved one truth: when you build something right, it can outlive the century. Number 9. Allis-Chalmers Model WC, 1933 to 1948. In the dark days of the Great Depression, when money was scarce and farms were collapsing, the Allis-Chalmers Model WC arrived as a ray of hope. Introduced in 1933, the WC was everything a struggling farmer could dream of: affordable, reliable, and strong enough to handle real work without breaking down or breaking the bank. The Model WC was a groundbreaking machine for its time. It was one of the first tractors to come factory-equipped with pneumatic rubber tires, replacing the rough steel wheels that had dominated earlier designs. Those air-filled tires gave it far better traction, comfort, and speed on soft soil and hard roads alike. Powered by a 201 cubic inch 4-cylinder gasoline engine, it delivered about 22 drawbar horsepower, enough to plow multiple acres in a single day, a remarkable feat in the 90s. But its true magic was in its simplicity. Every part of the WC was designed to be tough and easy to repair. Farmers didn't need specialized tools or fancy service shops. A basic toolkit, some oil, and a little mechanical sense were all you needed to keep the WC running year after year. It became so popular that Allis-Chalmers sold more than 178,000 units. And incredibly, many of those tractors are still alive today. Across rural America, in small towns and barns, the WC continues to start up after decades of rest. Some have even been restored and used for modern farm chores, hauling hay or pulling wagons, a testament to their indestructibility. Collectors often call it the tractor that refused to retire, and for good reason. It survived the Depression, World War II, and the transition into modern mechanized agriculture. The WC wasn't flashy or overpowered, but it had something far more important: heart and endurance. It's a reminder of an era when machines were built not for planned obsolescence, but for a lifetime of service. Number 8. Massey Ferguson 35, 1956 to 1964. If there's one tractor that truly deserves to be called the farmer's best friend, it's the Massey Ferguson 35. Introduced in 1956, the MF-35 became a global success story because of its perfect blend of simplicity, strength, and affordability. For countless small and medium-sized farmers, it was the first real taste of modern mechanization, and once they got it, they never looked back. The MF-35 was powered by a 3-cylinder Perkins diesel engine, producing about 37 horsepower. It wasn't a powerhouse by any means, but what it lacked in brute strength, it made up for with dependability. It could plow, cultivate, harvest, or haul without complaint, and because of its lightweight frame and excellent balance, it performed exceptionally well on uneven or hilly terrain where heavier machines struggled. But the real secret to the MF-35's longevity was its rugged simplicity. Every mechanical system, from the gearbox to the hydraulics, was built for ease of maintenance. Farmers in remote regions could fix it themselves, often using locally made parts. There were no fragile electronics or complex sensors, just reliable steel and solid engineering. The Massey Ferguson 35 wasn't just a hit in Europe or North America. It became a worldwide phenomenon, especially in developing countries like India, Pakistan, and across Africa. Its durability and fuel efficiency made it ideal for rough, demanding conditions where newer tractors often failed. Even today, more than 6 decades after production ended, MF-35 tractors continue to operate in fields and on small farms around the world. They're still plowing, still hauling, and still earning their keep. Many owners proudly say, "It's old, but it works better than new ones." The MF-35 was built during a time when farming wasn't about profit margins. It was about survival and pride. That's why it remains an icon, not just of farming, but of human resilience and craftsmanship. This isn't just a machine that refused to die. It's one that refused to stop working. Number 7. John Deere Model A, 1934 to 1952. When you talk about tractors that shaped the 20th century, you can't skip the John Deere Model A. Produced from 1934 to 1952, it wasn't just a success, it was a revolution on wheels. The Model A became one of the most popular tractors ever made, with nearly 300,000 units leaving the factory. For many American families, it wasn't just a machine, it was a partner in survival. What set the Model A apart was its unique 2-cylinder Johnny Popper engine, famous for its rhythmic pop-pop-pop sound that echoed across fields. That distinctive noise became a part of rural America's soundtrack. The engine delivered around 25 to 30 horsepower. Not a huge number by modern standards, but back then it was perfect for medium-sized farms. One of the biggest reasons for the Model A's legendary reputation was its fuel flexibility. It could run on gasoline, kerosene, or distillate fuels, making it invaluable during wartime shortages. Farmers could adapt it to whatever fuel was cheapest or available, a small feature that made a huge difference in tough times. The Model A was tough, simple, and forgiving. Its large steel frame, minimal moving parts, and straightforward controls made it easy to maintain. Even if it sat idle for years, a little oil and elbow grease could usually bring it back to life. It's not uncommon to see 80-year-old John Deere Model A's still operating today, plowing gardens, powering grain augers, or proudly parading through vintage tractor shows. Collectors around the world restore these green giants, not just because they're beautiful, but because they still work. Unlike many machines built today, the Model A was designed for decades, not years of hard labor. The John Deere Model A didn't just survive history, it became part of it. It represents a golden era of American farming, when machines were built not just to help farmers, but to stand beside them for a lifetime. Number 6. International Harvester Farm, Farmall H, 1939 to 1953. When the world was changing faster than ever before, from the Great Depression to the turmoil of World War II, one machine quietly stood its ground and helped feed nations. The International Harvester Farm, Farmall H, introduced in 1939, the Farmall H was not a flashy machine. It wasn't the biggest or most powerful tractor of its time, but what it was reliable beyond belief, and that's why it became the backbone of American agriculture for over a decade. The Farmall H delivered around 26 horsepower from a sturdy 4-cylinder gasoline engine. It was small enough for family farms, yet strong enough to handle plowing, harrowing, cultivating, and hauling. International Harvester designed it to be light, efficient, and incredibly simple to repair. There were no delicate components, no unnecessary complexities, just raw mechanical strength and functional design. One of its biggest selling points was its versatility. The Farmall H could handle a wide range of implements, from plows and seeders to corn pickers and mowers, thanks to its standardized hitch system. It wasn't just a tractor, it was a full-fledged farm partner. Over 390,000 units rolled out of IH's factories, each one destined to serve hard-working families across America's heartland. And serve they did. Even after decades of use, many Farmall tractors are still in working condition. Farmers today start them up every spring to cultivate small plots or power augers. Some have been converted into parade tractors. Others remain daily workhorses, still proudly wearing their red paint. The Farmall H symbolizes the golden age of American farming. It represents an era when machinery wasn't designed to be replaced, it was designed to endure. To this day, the H is praised for its dependability, simplicity, and charm. It's not an antique that gathers dust, it's a machine that keeps proving its worth generation after generation. When you see a Farmall H still pulling a plow after 80 years, you realize some machines weren't built for a season, they were built for a century. Number 5. Ferguson TE20, 1946 to 1956. After World War II, the world faced an enormous challenge: how to rebuild, how to feed millions, and how to modernize agriculture on a global scale. Into this scene rolled one of the most iconic and enduring tractors of all time, the Ferguson TE20, affectionately known as the Little Grey Fergie. Designed by the brilliant inventor Harry Ferguson, the TE20 wasn't just another tractor, it was a technological revolution on 4 wheels. Built between 1946 and 1956, this small gray-colored machine introduced the world to Ferguson's groundbreaking 3-point linkage system. This system allowed farmers to attach implements in a way that gave better traction, control, and balance, a design that is still used on nearly every modern tractor today. Powered by a modest 4-cylinder engine, the TE20 produced between 20 and 28 horsepower, depending on the model. That might sound small, but this little machine could do the work of horses and larger, costlier tractors. Its lightweight frame, excellent maneuverability, and fuel efficiency made it a dream for smallholders and post-war farmers who needed affordable reliability. More than 500,000 units were built, and they spread across continents, from the green fields of England to the vast farms of New Zealand, from the rice paddies of Asia to the dry plains of Africa. The TE20 was universal. It didn't care where it worked, only that it kept working. Decades later, tens of thousands of these tractors are still operational. Many have been lovingly restored by collectors, while others remain daily workhorses on small farms. The TE20 is the kind of machine you can leave in a barn for years, pour in fresh oil, and it will roar back to life. The Little Grey Fergie was more than a tractor. It was a symbol of post-war resilience. It helped rebuild nations, feed millions, and lay the foundation for modern farming. When people say they don't make them like they used to, they're probably talking about the Ferguson TE20. Number 4. Zetor 25, 1946 to 1961. While the world's eyes were on the big American brands, a humble machine from Czechoslovakia was quietly conquering Eastern Europe. The Zetor 20. Built in 1946, the Zetor 25 became the first mass-produced tractor in post-war Europe, and it quickly earned a reputation for being almost impossible to kill. The Zetor 25 was built during hard times, when resources were limited and conditions were rough. It featured a simple, rugged 2-cylinder diesel engine that produced around 26 horsepower. There was nothing fancy about it, no hydraulics to boast of, no flashy design, just raw, reliable steel, and an engine that could run through hell and come out grinning. It was designed to be universal, capable of working in the snowy hills of Slovakia, the muddy plains of Poland, or the dusty farms of Africa. Farmers could repair it with minimal tools, even in the field. There were stories of Zetor 25 tractors running with missing parts, damaged clutches, or even cracked blocks, and still getting the job done. This machine was truly overbuilt. Its heavy frame, slow but powerful engine, and straightforward controls meant anyone could operate and maintain it. It didn't rely on perfect fuel or clean conditions. In fact, it thrived where modern tractors would stall and fail. Even today, nearly 80 years after it first rolled off the line, Zetor 25s are still running in small European villages. Many have been restored, painted, and showcased in vintage tractor parades, but quite a few still do honest work on small family farms. The sound of that diesel chugging through the fields is the heartbeat of a bygone era. The Zetor 25 wasn't just a tractor. It was a survivor of history. It endured political turmoil, harsh winters, and decades of backbreaking labor. It proved that engineering simplicity and durability can outlast any empire. To this day, it remains one of the most beloved and enduring farm machines ever built behind the Iron Curtain. Number 3. Belarus MTZ-50, 1961 to 1985. In the vast stretches of the Soviet Union, where winters froze metal solid and summers baked the earth dry, only the toughest machines could survive. Enter the Belarus MTZ-50, a tractor so rugged, so unbreakable, it became a legend across continents. Built from 1961 onward in Minsk, the MTZ-50 was part of the Soviet effort to mechanize agriculture across its vast lands. Its 55-horsepower diesel engine wasn't just powerful, it was adaptable. The tractor could run on low-grade fuel, start in freezing temperatures, and pull through muddy fields without complaint. Farmers used to joke that if you ran out of diesel, you could pour vodka in the tank and it would still go. But jokes aside, the MTZ-50 was a serious workhorse. It was overbuilt in every way. Thick metal panels, a strong chassis, and simple mechanical systems. It didn't care about comfort or aesthetics. It was designed to function under punishment. Whether plowing frozen fields in Siberia or hauling loads in Ethiopia, the Belarus MTZ-50 earned a reputation as the tractor that never dies. Even decades after its production ended, you can find MTZ-50s running in Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and Africa. Some have been repaired hundreds of times, using whatever parts were available, old bolts, handmade gaskets, or even bicycle cables. And still, they keep working. The MTZ-50 wasn't built to impress. It was built to endure. Farmers trusted it because it never let them down. It's not uncommon to see one still being used daily, hauling timber, pulling plows, or powering mills. It's said that during the Soviet era, you could fix an MTZ-50 with a hammer, a wrench, and a little determination, and that's exactly why it's still alive today. It's a mechanical monument to toughness, a piece of iron that refused to die even when its factory closed its doors. Number 2. Case IH 930, 1960 to 1969. When Case introduced the 930 Comfort King in the early 1960s, it marked a turning point in tractor design. A perfect blend of old-school toughness and new-era comfort. It was the kind of machine that looked rugged enough to pull mountains, yet smooth enough for a farmer to spend all day behind the wheel without breaking his back. And true to its name, the Comfort King wasn't just a marketing label, it became a legend. Under its long orange hood was a 6-cylinder diesel engine that delivered close to 80 horsepower, a monstrous number for its time. It could plow large fields, pull heavy loads, and handle big implements without breaking a sweat. But unlike earlier tractors that rattled operators to the bone, the 930's raised seat and improved ergonomics gave farmers a sense of command and visibility that felt revolutionary. Sitting on a Comfort King, you didn't just ride a tractor, you ruled your land. The engineering was classic Case, overbuilt, practical, and nearly indestructible. It had a robust transmission system, reliable hydraulics, and a heavy-duty frame that could take decades of punishment. Farmers quickly discovered that the 930 wasn't just powerful, it was practically eternal. Stories abound of these machines running 50, 60, even 70 years later, their engines still thumping with that deep, satisfying diesel growl. Even after Case merged into International Harvester, creating the modern Case IH brand, the 930 remained a symbol of what the company stood for: strength, simplicity, and dependability. Collectors and restorers today still hunt for these machines, not as fragile antiques, but as living tools of history that can still get the job done. Many Comfort Kings still plow fields across North America and Canada, their faded orange paint a badge of honor. These tractors were built in an age when steel was thick, bolts were heavy, and machines were expected to last for generations. The Case 930 didn't just bring comfort, it brought immortality. In a world that's constantly upgrading, this tractor stands tall as proof that sometimes the best design is the one that never needs replacing. Number 1. David Brown 880 Selectamatic 1965 to 1971. At the top of our list stands a machine that perfectly represents everything a true farmer values: strength, simplicity, and soul. The David Brown 880 Selectamatic wasn't the most powerful tractor of its time, nor the most famous, but it was built with such intelligence and integrity that it refused to fade away, even as decades passed and technology raced ahead. Built between 1965 and 1971 in Yorkshire, England, the David Brown 880 was powered by a 46-horsepower diesel engine, tough as nails yet smooth in operation. What made it special was its innovative Selectamatic hydraulic system, a breakthrough technology that allowed the operator to choose between depth, height, and draft control for implements with the turn of a dial. It offered precision that was decades ahead of its time. But beyond its features, the 888's true magic was in its build. Everything about it, from the gearbox to the hydraulic lines, was engineered for longevity. It didn't rely on complicated electronics or delicate sensors. Instead, it relied on pure mechanical genius. Its thick steel frame and efficient design meant minimal wear and tear, even after years of daily labor. Across the UK, Ireland, and India, the 8080 became a legend. Farmers fell in love with its reliability, and even today, you can find many still working daily on small farms, powering plows, mowers, and trailers as if it was still 9. Its smooth power delivery, fuel efficiency, and ease of repair made it a favorite across continents. Ask any old British farmer, and they'll tell you the same thing. A David Brown never dies, it just gets rebuilt. That phrase sums up the soul of the 880 perfectly. Even when its paint fades and its metal rusts, the heart of the machine, that indomitable spirit, keeps going. Collectors continue to restore these tractors, not just because they're rare, but because they represent a time when craftsmanship mattered more than cost. The David Brown 880 Selectamatic is more than a tractor. It's a time capsule of British engineering pride, still teaching the modern world a simple lesson. If you build it strong, if you build it right, it will never truly die. Machines come and go, but these legends stood their ground. Which one impressed you the most? Drop it in the comments. Love old-school toughness, forgotten mechanics, and farm equipment that outlives its era? Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because there are plenty more unbeaten machines waiting to be remembered. Thanks for watching. And never forget, real farm legends don't die. They just keep working.